It Ends With Us is the latest novel by Colleen Hoover. Let me just say this book deserves all the hype, so let's talk about it. The story follows Lily Bloom, a young woman who owns her own flower shop in Boston. Lily has had quite an interesting life. She grew up with a single mother, and she spent most of her childhood living in shelters. She witnessed domestic violence firsthand because her father was abusive towards her mother. She had to become the hero of her own story early on when she defended her mother and consequently shot her father. Now, years later, she has built a life for herself that she is proud of. She has a successful business and a loving family, but she is still haunted by her past. This is where Atlas Corrigan comes into the picture. He is a former high school sweetheart, and he re-enters Lily's life after 6 years. And the two of them pick up right where they left off. They have an undeniable chemistry together, and their relationship quickly becomes serious. However, as we know, nothing is ever easy, and there are a lot of obstacles that the couple has to face in order to be together. Atlas has his own baggage to deal with. He has trust issues, commitment issues, and he also has a dark past that eventually gets revealed. But despite all of this, Lily is willing to give him a chance because she can't deny how much she loves him. She wants to believe that he is the one for her. But then enter Ryle Kincaid, a neurosurgeon who is charming, good-looking, and everything that Atlas is not. He is confident, possessive, and he sweeps Lily off her feet. Despite knowing that Ryle is younger than her and that they come from different worlds, Lily finds herself falling for him. She is attracted to his ambition and drive, but she is also drawn to his passion for helping others. Soon enough, Ryle proposes to her, and she accepts. Just like that, Lily finds herself engaged to the man of her dreams. The problem is that there is already someone else in her dreams. Now, without giving any spoilers away, the rest of the story revolves around the love triangle between these three characters and how each of them plays a role in Lily's life. There are so many things to unpack here. Let's start with the love triangle itself. I'm not going to lie. At first, I did not understand why Lily would even consider being with Ryle when Atlas was clearly the better option. But as the story progressed and we learned more about Lily's past, I started to understand her choices. Trust me when I say that neither man is perfect. Both of them have their own flaws and weaknesses. But what matters is how they deal with them. And this is where they differ. Atlas is a man who is still carrying a lot of emotional baggage from his past. He is struggling to move on from his ex-girlfriend who left him 6 years ago. He is afraid of committing to a relationship because he is afraid of getting hurt. Atlas is a man who is afraid of love because he has never experienced it before. On the other hand, Ryle is a man who is driven by his ambition and success. He is a workaholic who does not have time for anything else. He's also a man who is used to getting what he wants because he is rich and good-looking. Ryle is a man who thinks that he can buy love. Now, who do you think is the better match for Lily? The thing I loved about this book is that it explores the complexities of relationships. It shows that not all love stories are fairy tales, and that sometimes the most beautiful love stories are the ones that do not have a happy ending. This might sound sad, but trust me when I say that this is what makes the story so realistic and relatable. We have all been in love before, and we all know how complicated it can get. We have all made mistakes in our relationships, and we all have to make tough decisions sometimes. The story does not shy away from showing the ugly side of love, such as possessiveness and jealousy. It also tackles important social issues, such as domestic violence and childhood trauma, but it does so in a way that is both thought-provoking and heartbreaking. Now, if you are wondering how the story ends, well, you will have to read the book yourself to find out. But I will give you a hint. It is not what you expect. Trust me, when I started reading this book, I thought I knew where it was going. I thought I had it all figured out. But boy, was I wrong. This story has so many twists and turns that I did not see coming. I was hooked from the first page to the last, and even though the ending was painful, I felt like it was realistic and well-deserved. One of the reasons why this book is so powerful is because of the writing. Colleen Hoover is a master storyteller. She has a way of writing that is so immersive and engaging. You can feel the emotions of the characters, and you can see the story unfolding right in front of your eyes. She writes with such raw honesty and vulnerability that it is impossible not to connect with the characters on an emotional level. Her prose is beautiful and poetic, and her ability to create complex and relatable characters is truly remarkable. Each character in this story is flawed and imperfect, but they are also strong and resilient. You can see their struggles and their pain, but you can also see their hope and their determination to overcome their past. The supporting characters in this book are also well developed, and they play an important role in Lily's journey. Her mother, who is a strong and independent woman who has raised Lily on her own, has a big impact on Lily's outlook on life. Her best friend, Elisa, is a loyal and supportive friend who is always there for Lily no matter what. And her brother, Garrett, is a protective and caring sibling who looks out for Lily. The other characters in the story, such as Lily's therapist and Atlas's roommate, also add depth and complexity to the plot. The setting of the story is also important. The story takes place in Boston, and the city is portrayed as a character of its own. The streets of Boston come alive with its rich history and vibrant culture. The story also has a dreamlike quality to it that adds to the overall atmosphere of the novel. At times, the story feels like a fairy tale, but then it is brought back to reality with a dose of realism. This contrast between fantasy and reality is what makes the story so gripping and keeps you guessing until the very end. The ending of the story is what makes this book stand out from other romance novels. It is not a happily ever after kind of story, but it is a realistic and satisfying conclusion to Lily's journey. As I said before, the ending was painful, but it was also well-deserved and thought-provoking. It left me with a sense of closure, but also with a lot to think about. It made me question the nature of love and the choices we make in relationships. It also made me appreciate the importance of family and friends who support us through our struggles. Overall, It Ends With Us is a must-read for anyone who loves romance novels or who has ever been in love. It is a story that will stay with you long after you finish reading it. So if you haven't already, I highly recommend checking it out. Now, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on any of my videos. And I'll see you next time.